Biman Bangladesh Airlines, commonly known as just Biman, is the flagship carrier of my country, Bangladesh. The word Biman means aeroplane. The airline, which is only 52 years old, operates a modest fleet of 21 planes which connects Bangladesh and its 172 million population, the 8th most on the planet, with the rest of the world. Biman flies to 14 different countries and 30 destinations around the world. The 21 fleets are made up of 4 different models, which are 6 Boeing 737, 4 Boeing 777, 6 Boeing 787 Dreamliner, and 5 Bombardier Dash 8. The 14 countries flies to are England, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, India, Nepal, China, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand and Canada. In this video I'll be showing you my journey from Manchester, England to Sylhet, Bangladesh, which will take over 10 hours. The flight is direct, so there's no stopovers. Domestically, Biman flies to 7 cities spread around the country. The capital Dhaka, Sylhet, Chattogram also known as Chittagong, Rajshahi, Soitpur, Borishal and Jashore. For the first 3 decades, Biman was fully owned by the government of Bangladesh, but since 2007, it's become a public limited company, the largest such company in Bangladesh. It had a monopoly of the Bangladesh market for a long time, but there are now private passenger and cargo airlines in Bangladesh which are providing Biman with healthy competition. Biman's main hub is Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in the capital Dhaka, and it has secondary hubs at Shah Amanat International Airport in Chattogram and Osmani International Airport in Sylhet, where I'm from. In fact, most Bengalis living abroad, especially in England, are from the Sylhet division. Dhaka Airport is named after Hazrat Shah Jalal, who was a 14th century Islamic saint, widely respected for spreading Islam in the Bengal region, along with his 360 companions, or awliyas as they are known in Bengali. Chattogram Airport is named after Shah Amanat, who was also a Muslim saint, but he belonged to the 18th century. And Sylhet Airport is named after local-born General Muhammad Ataul Ghani Osmani, who famously led the Bangladesh Army and the freedom fighters to victory in 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. Biman's head office is Balaka Bhavan in Kurmitola area of Dhaka, next to the airport. Balaka, or the white stork, also forms the Biman logo, which is painted on the plane's tail inside a red circle. The logo was designed by painter Kamrul Hassan, whose ferocious caricature of Pakistani Yahya Khan during 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War attained an iconic status. Biman's brand colours are red and green, just like the national flag of Bangladesh. They take great pride in promoting the national culture, such as female staff wearing saris and providing wide variety of food selected from different parts of the country. Biman Fly Catering Centre, or BFCC, is Biman's own catering company. Interestingly, Biman has the Biman Poultry Complex located outside of Dhaka, which has been supplying chicken, fish and fruit and vegetables to the airline since 1980. Biman is a dry airline, so they don't serve alcohol. Around 90% of Bengalis are Muslims, and the Islamic religion does not allow the selling and consumption of alcohol. Biman Bangladesh Airlines is currently rated 3-star airline by Skytrax, the International Air Transport Rating Organization. The organization highlighted inconsistency, especially in cabin staff service and washroom cleanliness, as key factor for the low rating. However, Skytrax expressed that Biman have improved their fleet in recent times, and the standards on board the latest Boeing 787-9 are good. Bangladesh was born on 26th of March 1971 after a sudden and ferocious attack by Pakistan Army. After 9 months' war, which ravaged the whole country, the people and its infrastructure, Bangladesh gained victory on 16th December 1971. Less than 3 weeks later, on 4th of January 1972, Biman Bangladesh Airlines was born through a presidential ordinance. What an incredible spirit we Bengalis have. Alhamdulillah. Later in January, Biman started its journey with a DC-3 aircraft, thanks largely to the efforts of pilots Captain Alamgir Sattar Bir Partik and Captain Shahabuddin Ahmed Bir Uttam. They flew the aircraft during the war after it was inherited by Bangladesh Air Force from the Maharaja of Jodhpur, India. The pair requested Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman to donate the plane to Biman, which Bangabandhu happily did. So Biman Bangladesh Airlines is only 52 years old, making it the youngest fleet in the whole of South Asia. On 7th March 1972, they got 2 F-27s and finally took off with domestic flights to Chattogram and Sylhet from its base at Dhaka. Shortly after, they added a Boeing 707 aircraft and had the first ever international flight. By the end of the 1970s, they had 13 fleets serving both domestic and international flights. The last 40 years have been a period of further development and expansion, with new fleets being added and older ones being phased out. Biman was fully owned by the government of Bangladesh until 2007, when it was transformed into the country's largest public limited company. Biman Bangladesh Airlines is a safe airline, alhamdulillah. They put a high emphasis on safety and have a very good safety record. During their 52-year lifespan, flying hundreds and thousands of times, they've only had 2 incidents resulting in fatalities. Sadly, in the first year in 1972, 5 people died when the plane crashed near Dhaka during a training session. 12 years later, in 1984, 49 people tragically lost their life in a domestic flight coming to Dhaka from Chittagong. The plane crashed in a marsh due to extremely poor weather condition. It was only 500 meters short of the runway. Among the dead was First Officer Soeda Kaniz Fatima Rukhsana, Bangladesh's first ever commercial female pilot. It's the deadliest aviation disaster to occur on Bangladesh soil and also Biman's worst accident. In 2020, Biman flew 179 Bangladeshi UN peacekeepers from Bangladesh Army and Air Force from Dhaka to Bangui in Central African Republic. It was the first time in United Nations peacekeeping history the UN chartered a Bangladesh airline. Last year, in 2023, Biman Bangladesh Airlines was awarded the prestigious Certificate of Registration and Accreditation under International Air Transport Association or IOTA Safety Audit for Ground Operations Program or ISAGO program for the ground handling operation at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka. This, combined with the IOSA or the IOTA Operational Safety Audit registration since 2008, ensures Biman maintain a high level of international standard and have a safety-first approach. And their safety is something that's also been commended by Skytrax. Assalamu alaikum everyone, how you doing? Hope you're okay. Hope your family and your loved one are doing well and you're in good health. First and foremost, Jazakallah khair for watching this video as well. You guys have supported me a lot throughout these years, so thank you very much for that. Regarding my own experience with Biman, I first took Biman in 1995, 1 year before my GCSE. Decided to go back to Bangladesh, and it was the first time going back after coming to UK as a child. So as a 15-year-old, I went with my brother's mate and his family. They took me along. We went to Dhaka, and then from Dhaka we then flew to Sylhet. My experience of it, to be honest, wasn't that good. When I first got that Biman, I was so excited at the prospect of going on a plane. When I first came as a child, I didn't remember it. So this time around, being a young teenager, I was really looking forward to the whole journey. And from the first moment, it was quite overpowering. And I think a lot of it's not down to Biman's fault. A lot of it's also down to the people, the passengers. And because at that time in 1995, I found it very, very chaotic, the whole process. There wasn't any decent order. You didn't know what you were doing. There wasn't, the staff weren't that really helpful. And I think one of the major issues, and I think it still probably exists now today, to be honest, is the divide between, mentally at least, between the people of the Sylhet region and especially with the people of the Dhaka region as well. A lot of the people who talk Shuddha Bhasha, as we say, the former Bengali, tend to look down upon people of the Sylhet region because of the Anchalik Bhasha or the regional dialect that we use. They consider a lot of people from Sylhet to be uneducated. Again, false stereotype, and it's wrong on so many levels. And likewise, a lot of people from Sylhet tend to look down upon the people of Dhaka as not being grateful for the amount of things that the Sylhetis have done for Bangladesh, right? And there always seems to be a little bit of that element to it as well. So when I did get in the Biman, there seems to be already that little vibe of the staff being quite talking down upon the people, and the people themselves talking back more rudely and more aggressively. So that's all I remember as a 15-year-old. And the plane itself, I didn't like the decor. It felt like it was carpets rather than, the seat covers, and it was a little bit stenchy. So all in all, it was a really, really poor experience, and I particularly it left me quite traumatized in the fact that I thought, what, I don't want to go through this experience again. Having paid all that amount of money by my family, I was thinking to myself, well, I didn't get the value or the experience that I was looking for as a youngster. And then over the years, I have been to Bangladesh so many times, and I've gone, mainly with the Middle Eastern, aircraft, so such as, for example, airlines. Sorry. So, for example, I went with Emirates. I've been with Etihad. I've been with Qatar, and I've also been with Turkish Airlines. And I thought to myself, well, they're higher quality, they're more prestigious, and they're cheaper on top of that as well. So why not go with them? So for the last 29 years, I've avoided Biman like anything. And a lot of the reviews that you read online as well, on YouTube comments and, Google reviews, people don't really speak highly of Biman. Especially in the past as well, they've had similar experiences. So I thought nothing's changed, so why spend all that money and go with just because you're a national airline, right? It needs to be more than that. At the end of the day, you're paying all that money, you want a good service, and if you're getting a better service with competing airlines, and they're giving you much more higher standard, then why go with Bangladesh Biman? And it's only now because I've got a lot of friends who've said to me, oh, please go with Biman, do a blog, do a documentary on them. We really love to see that. And especially my friend Hamza. He's a Somalian, Kenyan, stroke, Scouser, all three mix. Mashallah, he's like a younger brother. So he's the one who's pushed me a lot. He's like, oh bro, it'd be fantastic for you to do one of your own national airline. And he, along with a couple other friends, they've inspired me to try it out. And if I'm honest with you, I'm a little bit doubtful about what the experience is going to be like. I am obviously genuinely looking forward to seeing how much they've improved in the last 29 years. But I'm also a little bit nervous that I haven't spent, I'm going to spend all that money. What's the experience going to be like? On top of that, I'm taking a 70-year-old mother as well as 22-year-old nephew. Now, I've got two different generations with two different expectations. And I'm just hoping that this time around, my experience will be a lot more positive. I'm genuinely looking forward to going in a plane with a lot of fellow Bengalis, with the staffs of Bengali as well. having already got the plane in Middle East and changed over and seen a lot of the Bengalis that got on the plane there, was a lovely experience. But the odd occasion, I do want to say to the staff, they've done an incredible job of maintaining a lot of the aggression from or the stupidity of some of the Bengalis of the Middle East as well. So yeah, they've done an exceptional job, and I'm just hoping that they'll do a similar job with Biman Airlines. And I'm excited. Overall, I'm super excited at the prospect of using the national airline, but there is an element of fear. Just don't want to be another bad experience because it's been a long, long time, and I hope it's going to be an incredible experience, and I'm really looking forward to it. So inshallah, let's see how it goes. Currently, you need a visa to travel to Bangladesh if you're going from UK. If you're going from another country such as America, Canada, Spain, France, Italy, Malaysia, etc., see your government website if you need a visa or not. But if you're of a Bengali origin, you can get a no visa required or NVR stamp on your passport, which allows you to enter as often as you want and as long as you want. You can apply online for a visa or NBR stamp through Bangladesh High Commission website in your country. In UK, the NBR stamp costs £46 now. You need to apply online, print it out, make an appointment with the High Commission, and take further ID proof with you. So make sure you do this in advance of you traveling. You can try to get a visa when you arrive at Dhaka airport, but it's risky. You need to have a return ticket. You're only allowed a single entry. You can't stay more than 30 days. And most importantly, it's up to the Bangladeshi immigration officers whether they give it to you or not. It's their choice. So you may need to put a few notes in a brown envelope, if you know what I mean. Here we go. Bismillah. Oh wow, nice. Bookings can be made through travel operators or online directly from the Biman website at www.biman-airlines.com. I chose to book through Biman's website. Here you'll find other information such as flight status and schedule, booking cancellation and refunds, group booking, and issues relating to children, expectant mothers, pets, and disability. You'll also find travel advice by country and also how to get Biman Loyalty Club membership. This is the important part, the bag allowance. দেখি বাংলাদেশের মধ্যে কত পুরান কাপড় লইয়া যাওয়া যায় আর আইবার সময় কত ফুটকি আর কত চাটনি আনা যায়. If you travel in economy class, domestic baggage allowance is 20 kilogram. International bag allowance can range from 20 kilogram to 50 kilogram. If you're traveling to and from England to Bangladesh, it's currently a total of 40 kilogram shared between two pieces of bags, i.e. maximum of 20 kilogram each. A single bag should not exceed 30 kilogram. Obviously, try not to go beyond the limit as Biman charges £10 for every kilogram of extra luggage. Bloody hell, £10. That's a crazy rate, to be honest. You can have a 6 kilogram of hand luggage for economy class or 10 kilogram of business class which you can carry onto the plane. Please check their website for full and up-to-date details. Manchester Airport. Hopefully one day we'll get Liverpool as well to Sylhet Osmani. £442 economy class just to fly out. Oh, there's two prices for economy class. Economy saver and economy flexible or economy flexible. What's the difference? Okay, it seems like economy saver charges you more fee if you want to change flights or get refund. Economy flexi is lower fee, but economy flexi is also more expensive. So the math doesn't add up. That's a bit weird. Okay. For loyalty members, there's more points or earning miles, as they call it, if you get economy flexi. If you're a British Bengali, when you're entering your nationality, search for UK as the option British citizen is not there. Wow. So you can enter your travel documents, passport, every detail, but you can't. There's no British on the nationality tag. What is going on? Only British Indian, Ocean Directory, and what else? And Virgin Island British. Where's British? You gotta be joking, right? What about UK? Okay, so for nationality they've got UK rather than British. Well, okay, that's something to remember for all the Probashis, British Probashis. You're no longer nationality of British, you are UK. That's your nationality. Fair enough. At least it's there. Panic over. No, no. If you have any dietary need, be sure to let them know by selecting Add Special Request and pick the relevant option from Mail Preference. Remember, it's always a good idea to print your ticket out just in case you don't have the internet or charge on your mobile. They have the functionality to carry your bags for you. No, that should be fine. This is the shit I can't stand. Makes my blood boil, man. Why the hell is it so expensive? I mean, Biman is only a 3-star provider, and then you got 4 stars like Qatar, 4 5 star like Qatar, Emirates, Etihad, Turkish Airline. They're more cheaper than Biman. They're £100, £200 cheaper than Biman. Just don't get it. I mean, okay, fair enough. You can argue that with Biman you're going direct, to Sylhet, and then you don't have to stop over. So there's that advantage. But then again, some people like to stop over in long haul flights. You've got such a long journey, and especially if you're elderly or people who can't sit for long, maybe for joint problems or vein issues, etc. It also emotionally and mentally helps to break the journey up. Sometimes, when you do stop over. It just gives you a chance to opportunity to take a breather and walk, etc. Yeah, fair enough. I get it that the advantage is going straight to Sylhet rather than Dhaka. If you go straight to Sylhet, you save yourself the extra day. You don't have to stay in Dhaka. You don't have to arrange transport to go from Dhaka to Sylhet. You don't have to stay with your family and have the hotel expenses. All that is fantastic advantage. But does that mean that you're going to be charging that much? Okay, you can argue, I guess, regarding the cultural experience, in terms of going with your own national airline, and having the whole plane full of predominantly your own people, and I get it, that the whole cultural experience means that you shouldn't be charging us that much then, because for us to experience that, you want to take more money from us for experience that. It's like when you go to Bangladesh, there's a fee for foreigners for visiting landmarks and fee for locals. The locals pay like 50 taka and the foreigners pay 500 taka. So just because we're coming all the way from foreign countries, rather than loving us, you're trying to rinse us off even more. So yeah, I am patriotic, but I'm not stupid either. Okay, fair enough. I mean, there's elements of high operating costs. Like, unlike those other Middle Eastern or other international airlines, which have a lot more people going to, a lot more international audience, they're frequently flying a lot more. So Biman doesn't have that luxury. Biman, has fewer flights and fewer customers as well, and mainly predominantly, Sylhetis or Probashis from Dhaka, from Chittagong, from Sylhet, etc. Bengalis are living abroad. But does that mean you got to keep on increasing the price there? Because if you lower the price, you can have more people going and more often going. If you're going to make your price not competitive, then people are going to choose those other competitors. I mean, I just don't understand why we do stupid things like this as well and put ourselves in this difficult position, just lower the prices for God's sake. Give us more opportunity to go with Biman. Improve the service, lower the prices. You'll see more of us going every year. I'd love to go more often with Biman, but not for no one they do shit like this. MashaAllah, done, done. Wow. Done, confirmation. Everything is there. Everything is there, mashallah. Finally, going back to my homeland again. Bangladesh. Done. You're not allowed to convert currency into Bangladesh's taka and bring it into the country. So either have a bank account in Bangladesh, send money to trusted family members, or exchange your currency in the airport or at a bank. If you're not staying with family and friends and are booking a hotel, remember booking early is better than last minute. You'll save money and get your preferred place. Make a packing list a few weeks beforehand. List all essential items first, such as travel document, clothing and medication. Get your medicine in advance. Pay your household and car bills. Check that you've got enough money to pay for stuff. Remember to notify your banks, because some banks can prevent you using your card abroad, as they may think it's a fraudulent activity if you don't notify them. Remove food from fridge and clean your house. Take the trash out. Nobody likes to come back to a dirty home after a holiday. Back up your mobile and laptop and other devices. Fully charge them before leaving your house, and unplug electrical items in your house such as the TV, microwave, lamps, etc. Create a list of what you want to see and do as bare minimum in Bangladesh. Print it out and look at it every few days while you're there so you get the most out of your holiday. Check the weather 1 week beforehand so you can readjust any items accordingly. Tell your loved ones and neighbors. Get someone to look after your house, your car, plants, pets, etc. Give them a copy of your schedule and document just as backup. And if you're a Muslim, try to learn some du'as or supplications, such as when you get onto a transport or if you're visiting a grave of a loved one. Other items I like to take are a mosquito repellent or a spray or gel or something to stop those damn mosquitoes from biting you. A universal travel plug, as some places may have 2 pins in the socket, some may have 3. Remember to take extra memory card for your mobile to store those precious photos and videos. Take a power bank. Take thick sandals, though cheap, as it can go missing in masjid. Take good trainers for walking. And if, like me, you're a fairly sporty person and you like to do a lot of sport and activities, make sure you take a good pair of sports trainers to play sports such as football and badminton or to go for a jog. Remember to take appropriate clothing, so for example shorts and vests for swimming and Punjabis if you're praying in a masjid. Take sun cream or lotion. And again, remember to print out your ticket. Also be sure to write the mobile number of any family member you need to contact from the airport. It's 16th January 2024, 9 days before we go to Bangladesh, and it's the first day of snow in England for a long time. So yeah, it's mashallah, it's an incredible sight. Let me show you guys what my street looks like. Look at that. Incredible, isn't it? Alhamdulillah, it's beautiful. I'll show you more. Thank you.
Kani suitcase kaya da bilo ila?
এটাও পাকিস্তানি সব থাকি
সালিশ ফোন দিতে তাদের ফোন জন্য লইছিল আর কি দেখো
40 ফোন কইতে এটা 15 ফোন দি
ফোন তো ফোন দিতা বলে না তোমার সালিশ
এটাও যাই রে নাই দেয়া দে লইছি এটা ইনো বাংলাদেশ শুনবেন না এটা হচ্ছে অন্য অন্য দুই চার দিন ওটা যাইবে যায় বাংলাদেশে চলতে দাঁড়া
বাংলাদেশে দেখতে
না কই এটা তো কম আটা প্লাস্টিক তো ফাটি যায় ওটা বালা ওটা বালা
21 and a half. I don't know.
বাংলাদেশের বানানি ও জিনিসপত্র বাংলাদেশে কিন্তু আমরা ইংল্যান্ড থেকে আনি তো বাংলাদেশে things that's made in Bangladesh they come to England and we're taking it back to Bangladesh.
তো টিকেটও দিতে নিতাম না নেই তো তো বিষয়
এই বিষয়ে আমি করাইছি ও জিনিসপত্র ওখান থেকে তোরা কোন করাইছি
তো যাও আল্লাহ বাঁচাইবে
Go ahead, lad.
Time to fly. Let's get ready.
It's a very historically important place. So like it's got so much, you know. Departure. Mashallah, that's the one. We got to the check-in nice and early, 3 hours before our flight. And it was at this point things took a nasty turn for me. The floor manager came up to me and said, I can't travel, but my mother and my nephew can. And he said, the reason I can't travel is my passport expires in 5.5 months time rather than the 6, and you need a minimum of 6 months time within the passport. So I was obviously stunned. Even now I'm completely stunned. Can't believe what's happened. I just said to him, well, look, my passport expires in 5.5 months time. I'm coming back from Bangladesh in 2 months time. So I'm gonna come long before my passport expires, and I've got a return flight with you guys as well. You've got proof and everything, and it's on your booking system and everything. Can you not let me go? He said, no, unfortunately, it's an international law. It's not the law of Biman Airlines, it's an international law, and they can't break it. And I was like, surely there has to be some sort of leeway here for the sake of 2 bloody damn weeks. How could you stop me from, traveling with a 70-year-old mother and a, nephew who hasn't even been to Bangladesh for 10 years? The last time Joni went to Bangladesh, she was only 12 years old. Anyway, he was very businesslike, didn't show much warmth, but he wasn't cold either, in all fairness to him. He just said, you can't travel, Mr. Samad. They can travel, but you can't. So my nephew then turned around and said, oh, let's just cancel altogether. To which the floor manager went around, then he turned around and said, well, why do that? Why don't you two go? And he'll join you once he gets his new British passport. And then, Jonah was incredible. He showed so much heroics at that day and calmness, which really surprised me. And he was very, very efficient in his thinking and very solution based, which was lovely. He turned around and said, well, uncle, you can go for an emergency passport. You can get that within a few days and you can join us. So yeah, cut a long story short, after everything, I said to my mom and nephew, well, you guys go. Don't let this incident spoil you because you've already been psyched up and excited and like I have been, etc. And inshallah, I'll join you in the next couple of weeks. But this is the thing, right? I had a 7-week schedule in Bangladesh, very tight schedule as to exactly the places I'm going to go, the things that I need to document and showcase to the rest of the world, in terms of promoting Bangladesh and the country. And it's all gone fucked up, to be honest. Because literally the last few days into our holidays is when Ramadan starts. So it's not like I can extend my holiday because, as you guys know, I'm going to be fasting. The whole country is 90% Muslim. We're all fasting away. It's not the time to travel. Everything's closed. The bus service, train service, everything's delayed. And there's, it's during the month of Ramadan. It's a spiritual month anyway. It's a month for reigniting your soul and your connection with Allah even more. So it's not a time for traveling. So it's pointless. There's no point trying to extend my stay when I'm there. So it basically means now my holiday is going to be messed up and the timeline for the holiday and the schedule for the holiday is all gone wrong. And it also meant that because Johnny was only going to stay 3 weeks as well, I'm not going to spend that much time with him as well. I was supposed to show him around Bangladesh. I was supposed to show him around his, distant relatives and people like that. And, all that's unfortunately, is abandoned. So my mother was incredibly upset. She couldn't stop crying. My nephew was dejected. I was fuming. I was incredibly sad, but I also felt ashamed. I felt ashamed that I didn't know about the whole 6 months thing. It wasn't common knowledge. It wasn't something that any of us knew of. It wasn't something that was highlighted when I did the booking. And that's something that really, really, embarrassed me because I take full responsibility. At the end of the day, it's my fault. I'm not blaming Biman. I'm not blaming anybody for my passport about to expire in 5.5 months' time. It's my fault, right? But had I known about the 6 months, limit, then of course I would have, renewed my passport before even making my travel arrangements. But one two thing pissed me off during the incident. So the floor manager turned around and goes, well, if you had a big Bangladeshi passport, you could have gone today and even if the passport was about to expire within a day, you could still travel. But because you got a foreign passport, you can't travel. I was like, listen, it's not a fucking time to be saying such stupid things. It's bad enough as it is for you to say anything. And that's one thing I didn't like about him. He could have been a bit more solution focused rather than highlighting the issue. And I get they get a lot of stupid people coming through, stupid customers or customers that irritate them. But don't take that irritation out on me. When I'm being calm and professional and cooperating with you, the attitude shouldn't be there. So that's one thing I didn't like about him. But like I said, overall, he wasn't ill-intentioned. Is the guy behind the counter was incredibly nice. So kudos to that guy. He was lovely. He was very warm and understanding and kept on apologizing even though it wasn't his fault. My mother cried a lot. It was disheartening. She left and then I came back with the rest of my family who drove to the airport, who took us to the airport. So I came back embarrassed. The thoughts of facing my friends and neighbors after telling them I'm going and to tell them about that incident. You're always going to get some people who's going to turn around in their heart. They're going to think, well, he's traveling. He should know. He's documentary, making blogs, he's researching. He should know. But I'm not a legal expert. I'm not there's nothing obvious when I was making my application. And that's the one recommendation I'd like to make to Biman and whatnot, and to all the airlines for that matter. If there are certain rules that stop people from flying when they are booking, please highlight it. Make it so obvious. So when I was making the booking, using my passport details, yes, it was valid for 6-7 months then because I booked in advance. But when I chose my flight date and I'd entered my expiry date of my passport, easy calculation tells you that it's 5.5 months gap. It's not 6 months. Why couldn't you just a message come up? Let's say, hey buddy, you're booking something when your passport is not valid for that period. You can carry on booking, but you need to get your passport sorted before you fly. It's just a simple message. It's a simple thing that they can add to the booking system online. Any airlines can do that, right? So this type of shyness is prevented. Because look, now I've come back home. I've applied for my new British passport. I'm going to get that in a couple of days' time. But what messes it up is because I'm going to be staying more than 30 days as well. I need to get that no visa required or NVR visa. And that takes up to 2 weeks to get that, so it's 10 working days. So my whole 7 weeks of original 7 weeks is now going to be shortened to potentially 5 weeks. And that's a huge chunks of my holiday gone, simply because of the fact that each day I had something planned that I needed to be doing, and most of it, like I said, was documenting Bangladesh for you guys and for the rest of the world to see. And now it's all fucked up. So yeah, generally very, very upset. I have to get my British passport. I've already booked for that. Hopefully that, I need to show my face in the Liverpool office and collect that in 2 days' time. Then I have to go. I've spoken to the Biman office already regarding the incident, and I'd really want to compliment the Manchester-based regional manager, Brother Mahmoudur. He was incredible. He was very warm on the phone, and he reassured me that from Biman's side everything will be fine. I don't know if they're going to charge me for rescheduling or not, but I'm going to go and discuss that with them on Monday. So I have to pick up my passport first on Monday, first thing in the morning, then go and see him, and then go and see the visa office in Manchester as well. So travel all the way there from Liverpool to Manchester just to solve all that. And inshallah, maybe within a week I should be able to travel. The only stumbling block is the no visa required. Everything else will be sorted on Monday. So yeah, right now I'm completely shattered, dejected, ashamed, pissed off, bitter, and well, no, it's not good. It's not good feelings, but alhamdulillah, my mother and nephew got there safely, which is the most important thing. And even when I was speaking to Brother Mahmoudur, the Biman manager, regional manager, he mentioned that he too has to go to Bangladesh because his brother had passed away. So look, at the end of the day, I'm alive. You guys were watching it alive. Sadly, he's lost his brother. May Allah grant him Jannat. So yeah, obviously I'm pissed off with what's happened with me, but look at this amount of sadness and grief that there are in this world, right? So what's happened to me is nothing in comparison to that. So yeah, it is what it is, but Allah has ways, right? So, but yeah, let's sort everything out, and I'll let you know how things get on. Yeah. Monday, 29th January 2024. You've been epic. The day started early in the morning when I went to the Liverpool City Centre to finally collect my new British passport. Alhamdulillah, got my passport. If this black one gives me half as joy as this one, I'll be super happy. I then filled in the no visa required form, printed it out, and thankfully with the help of my niece Hafiza, went all the way to Manchester with the hope that they'll be able to do my visa on the same day, or at least within a day or two. The Bangladesh High Commission in Manchester had ample parking, but the facilities could be much more improved. Having more staff behind the counter, having more seats, and a little bit more colour within the actual office, as well as perhaps a bit of cultural background music, just to cancel out any private conversation people are having, are some of the improvement that they can make. But the staff are incredibly professional. The patient level was incredibly high, something I couldn't deal with. And they were incredibly supportive of what I was going through. Especially Jamshed Bhai, who went out of his way to make sure I got my visa as soon as possible. Now all that was left to do was to reschedule my ticket with Biman. So we went to the Biman office in Manchester City Centre. Once again, Mahmoudur Bhai and his staff were incredibly helpful. Special thanks to Rafiqul Islam Dipu, who deals with all the bookings. He went out of his way to ensure that I could travel the following day. There was a small booking fee, and though I wasn't too happy with that, it was great knowing that I could travel to Bangladesh finally tomorrow. Inshallah. Life is a test. For all our countless blessings, it's easy to get overwhelmed by our personal challenges. But, like they say, success is to flow like water through a river of rocks. This time the check-in had a great long queue, even though I came 3 hours early like the other day. There were many passengers trying to get every gram of the 40-kilogram limit and squeezing in one last item. One Biman staff member told me that there are some naughty customers who will check in their 7-kilogram hand luggage and then go up to family and friends and get more items in. They then cause drama if staff members try to check their bulging luggage second time. This type of passengers need to grow up fast. I said my goodbyes to my nephew Amin, who had kindly picked up my visa from the High Commission in Manchester a few hours earlier, and drove to Liverpool to pick me up for the airport. The security clearance was a smooth process, but I was still holding my breath in fear of more twists and turns. I knew I wasn't going to breathe until I landed on Bangladesh soil. Manchester Airport is big inside, but it's fairly intuitive and easy to navigate. My Biman flight was delayed by 40 minutes. I expected this as Biman had a reputation for being inconsistent with his flight time. My mum and nephew were over an hour late, while a friend who travelled a few weeks earlier had no issue at all. While waiting on the lounge, I suddenly spotted two Biman crew members and cheekily followed them, even though the boarding gate had not been announced. They headed to gate 29 and I walked behind them like a thief. And that's when I spotted Biman's Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Wow. Wheelchair users, elderly and families with kids were boarded first, followed by the rest of us. Thankfully there were no delays and there were plenty of staff members helping people on board. finally here, an hour into the video. You guys are still watching, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's not your typical aviation video, but then I guess I'm not your typical storyteller. So yeah, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for following my journey. Super excited to be here. As you can see, all my fellow Bengalis behind me. It's absolutely incredible. I've met one or two faces as well who live nearby where I live, so got chatting away with them. So yes, lovely. This type of encounters is what makes it special. I know as a content creator, we're always constantly looking to capture everything and whatnot, but the best way is not to even look through the lens. Best two ways to look through your eyes and to open your heart as well. That's the best way of to.
However, there were some crew members trying to deal with those fraudulent passengers who were trying to exceed their hand luggage limit. Those passengers were arguing their elephant, hippopotamus and giraffe-like luggage was less than 7 kilograms. I swiftly walked past the drama.
So much chaos, even just getting on. Why are people like that? I don't understand. I've been very impressed by the service, by the speed of the service from check-in to even boarding. It's been a really, really smooth process. So very, very impressed by the level of speed and professionalism as well. And staff do an exceptional job for the customers. Can be a little bit difficult. Most of the people are incredible, but you get some odd people causing a lot of drama. But alhamdulillah, everyone's incredible, doing an incredible job, so keep up the good work.
As a Muslim, I quietly read a dua or supplication that we would have a safe journey ahead. Subhanallazi sakkara lana hadha wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin wa inna ila rabbina la munqalibun. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner has a total of 271 seats, 247 economy class and 24 business class, with the economy class laid out in a 333 configuration. Everyone was Bengali or Prabashi as they refer to us in Bangladesh. I didn't spot any non-Bengalis or foreigners as we call them. The decor was simple but tasteful. Crew members greeted us with a warm smile that was very heartwarming experience. The seats were simple but very tightly squeezed together. There were no leg room at all. Nobody dared recline for fear of squeezing the passenger behind them. Thankfully, I was one of the lucky ones and seated at the front, near the emergency door. So I had plenty of leg space, and I felt both honoured and guilty at the same time. The USB charger was located under the seat and I didn't see any universal power outlet. All accessories, including headphones, were cutely branded to represent Biman and the Bangladesh flag. Nice touch. The headphone isn't noise cancelling, so make sure you bring your own pair if this is important to you. The in-flight entertainment Wi-Fi was decent. The TV screen was bigger than normal and of good quality. On the home screen, it welcomed you in both English and Bangla and showed a timeline visually displaying how far you travelled. The screen was easy to navigate and smooth and responsive. It had large choices of Bengali movies and TV programs, but hardly any international or Hindi movies. Biman will have to quickly improve this if they're trying to appeal to an international audience. One interesting category is Bangla documentary, which has history and travel videos. These were mostly focusing on Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of Bangladesh nation and a founding member of the Awami League political party. No doubt this will change if the BNP come in power. Biman had impressive number of live international channels on offer. It showed the direction of prayer or Qibla for those Muslims wanted to pray in their seats, and had the full Quran which you can listen to chapter by chapter and even save specific chapters to your favor for quick access. As a Muslim, I love this. Another beautiful feature was the 3D maps which kept me engaged throughout the whole flight.
Toilet is nice and clean for the time being.
The takeoff was smooth and well handled. We were supplied with water instantly and waited around an hour and a half for food to be served. The air steward didn't provide us with a menu and instead read it out. There wasn't many choices, but what we got was delicious and filling. When I moved the foil, I was hit by a cloud of spice. I love how the colors even had the Biman branding. And the dessert was one of the best I had. Near the end of our flight, we were given our second meal, the breakfast. It's good to see how they incorporated local traditional foods as part of the meal. This is an outstanding way of keeping the cultural values and traditions alive. Throughout the trip, staff offered us water, juice, tea and coffee, so we never felt dehydrated. They didn't serve any alcohol, which makes it more comfortable for us Muslims. But the tea and coffee was disgusting, so hopefully they can ban this also. It was a long journey, but for most parts it went fast. Sitting on either side of me were Shahjahan and Shahinur, two cousins from Birmingham. They were two of the nicest travel companions you can have, friendly, polite and engaging. Shahjahan had travelled over 15 times with Biman and knew their procedure inside out. He was quick to help others, including me. Shahinur and I spoke for hours throughout the flight. From life, Bangladesh politics and career prospects, we covered every topic. And he supported the best football team in the world also, Liverpool Football Club. Who else? I met Shahjahan and Shahinur as a stranger, and we left as friends. There was also an adorable little child of a passenger seated near us. The young kid, only 2.5 years old, was super excited to be on the plane. He was so well behaved, just like his infant brother. Inshallah, one day he will be a pilot with Biman. Sometimes you get free entertainment from the best Bengalis on board. Listen to the conversation, can be funny, and if you really want to chuckle, check out some of the Bangla music videos. To be honest, I was confused about the in-flight entertainment. Should I be bowled over by its incredibly revolutionary interactive maps, Quran and documentaries, or be frustrated by its lack of modern entertainment? My nephew Jonah also warned me against the aeroplane internet. He said there were various packages and they were quite cheap, but he couldn't get any as it wasn't working and there were technical problems. Excited, I began to record with my mobile and within seconds told by an irritated air steward to stop immediately. No filming was allowed. His sharp tongue made me feel like a school pupil standing in front of the headmaster being told off. From a paying customer's perspective, this was shit. Both you and I were going to get robbed of recording our experience. I look forward to the day when Biman becomes one of the most camera-friendly airlines in the sky. Except that one sour moment, the Biman air stewards were professional, well-trained and quick to help. They remained calm even when some of the customers weren't following basic protocols. I don't think I could remain as respectful if I was in their shoes. However, they seemed little guarded and reluctant to drop the guard. Who knows what's going on behind the scene? The flight was super smooth with near zero turbulence. There was only little turbulence near the Pakistan-India border, so nothing new there. British citizens were given an arrival card to fill out. I followed Shahjahan's advice and used capital letters to fill out the form so it's easily readable by airport staff, and put a Bangladesh telephone number as part of the contact address. Now it was time to save the cloud and enjoy for free one more of Allah's creation. We flew above my Sylhet, the land of my birth. The landing was little bumpy, but well handled by the pilots. But before the plane came to a halt, passengers were quick to unfasten their seatbelt and get ready to rush out. I never understood this. Why stand there for 30 minutes looking impatient rather than sit comfortably and reflect on the safe journey? Eagerness is good, but stop and enjoy the moment.
We're here, alhamdulillah, we've arrived.
Sylhet Osmani International Airport is small and straightforward. No fancy restaurants or souvenir shops inside. There were staff members in orange high-vis assisting old age pensioners as well as those with large families. There were CCTV cameras everywhere, so you always felt safe. Checking out was stress-free. The security clearance was one of the fastest and smoothest I experienced, though they need to rename the aisle caption so it's not confusing. One had foreign passport written on it, another with SAARC countries, and another with non-Bengali passport. So I asked a security guard and he told me we British passport users could use all the aisles, including the Bangladesh only ones. Welcome to the Asian continent. Waiting for the luggage was time consuming. It seemed the same luggage were going round and round. Finally I got mine after half an hour later, and now I can step out into Bangladesh and breathe.
Here we go, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, achi, let's go. কত স্টোরি আমি আইতাছিলাম বিশুদ্ধবারে আর আমারও কত সাথে আইছে তারা সাথে মানে তো আইছে আলহামদুলিল্লাহ। ওয়েলকাম টু বাংলাদেশ হইলাও। ওয়েলকাম টু বাংলাদেশ। Yes, welcome to Bangladesh. Here you go. The noise of CNGs and rickshaws tells you you're in Bangladesh. There you go. আচ্ছা আম্মা, তুমি তো বিমান দিয়ে গেছিলা, বিমানে তোমার কিলান লাগলো?
বিমানে এমনি তো সব কিছু ভালো আছে, বইছি যে বাঙালি বিমান তো তারা সার্ভিস করছে বালাইলে বাঙালি পাইছি মাছি বাঙালি খানি উনিও ওখানটা আরাম লাগছে নাকি, সিট একবারে ছোটো বোয়া যায় না, যে কষ্ট হয়েছে আইবার সময়।
আর এই 10.5 ঘন্টা দিয়ে ফ্লাইট দিয়েছিল, এই 10.5 ঘন্টা কিলান গেল? থাকতে গেছিলেন না সময় লাগছিল না?
না, আমার তো বেমারি শরীর, সময় বোঝা গেছে সময় লাগছে, তারা চালাইয়া আইসেন ঠিক মতো দিতে।
আর কত মানুষ হল আসেন যে তারা কই বলে বিমান অত বেশি বলে না, তুমি কি তারা?
না, বিমান এমনি বানানো বাংলাদেশি বিমান, তোমার খানিও বাংলা হলতাও সিটটা মারি দিছে, সিট একবারে আটাই এই জন্য সিফা ভাই বারুল যায় না যে করা যায় না ওখানেও
আর তুমি তো চলছো না আরো কত 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 এলাইন দিয়ে গেছো তুমি তো এমিরেটসও গেলাই আরো বিভিন্ন থেকে
তিনবার আইলাম ওবার লইয়া তিনবার আইছি
বিমানে আইছো
ই ফিরের সিট লাহানো তো ছোট সিট নাই
আগে এমনি সিট বালা আছে
সিট বালা আছে তো সবুজরে লইয়া জাহাঙ্গীরে লইয়া গেলাম
আচ্ছা
তো জৈনুলরে লইয়া আইলাম
আচ্ছা তো তুমি সামনে দিয়ে বিমানে যাইবানি না যাইতে না আর বার চান্স তো মিলে যাইবানি
চান্স তো মিলে রে বাবা সুযোগ আর সিট উঠে উলান দেখা যায় তে তো গেলাম আর আল্লাহর হুকুম না তাকে আর এটা তো বাবা দিয়ে আল্লাহ জানে
আর তারা যে সার্ভিসে তোমার দিছে মানে তারা কাস্টমার ওর ভিতরে তারা বালা বালা
তারা বালা আইনাও দিছে তারা সে বেও যে করছে তারা খুব বালা করছে
আর মানুষ হল তো ঠিক আছে না যে তো মানুষ হল ও তারা কিলান আসলা যারা প্লেনে দৌড়ছো বাঙালি যারা প্লেন দৌড়ছো না প্লেন তারা না বিমান স্টাফ না আমরা মানুষ হল
আমরা রুবিটা তারা প্লেনও যারা প্যাসেঞ্জার হল তারাও বালা যে কয়টু ইয়া তারা চলছুন বইছুন উঠছুন কোনো গেঞ্জাম নাই কোনটা না
Yes, man, it's not the most serious thing ever. Okay, Jono, so what did you think of Bangladesh Biman Airlines?
My experience of Biman Airlines was, I'd say it was 50-50. The part that I did like of the airline was, they had really good service and that it's a direct flight straight to Sylhet, which is only an hour and a half drive or so from where I live, which is in Sylhet. So I would say that if you want to just straight get there, no time wasted, no stopping off anywhere else for a layover and traveling even more, I'd say that is a great airline to fly with if that's what you're looking for. There was a few downsides as well to the airline, which I think does taint the experience a bit. So first of all, especially a guy like me, 6'2", a bit big as well, I would say the leg space wasn't the best. It was like a big plane, but it was like the seats were like kind of like Ryanair kind of. It was very tight, and also the struggle to eat when we were next to each other, and we were just very close into each other's personal spaces. That's one thing I would definitely get them to change and improve. Another thing would be the toilets could improve as well. So when you first go onto the plane and at the beginning of your flight, if you do use the toilet, you do, but it was okay then. But when I went to it a bit later after, it was under total shambles, and I guess it is because of down to the people, but I think the staff should regularly just check and do maintenance and just keep the toilet clean for everyone else.
What was the entertainment like in terms of the screens?
The entertainment on the TV was quite good. There was a lot of options, movies wise. You had games, you had music, and also for a lot of people that are on the plane, which were Muslims, you had a Quran to listen to. You had every para there, which was really good for someone who I was with, which is my grandmother. She could listen to that peacefully and she wasn't, bored.
But what about the English movies? I found personally that there wasn't that many choices and that was quite poor. What's your view on with regards to like American movies, English movies? Because obviously you're an English speaking person. Yeah. What did you think about that?
Well, for someone like me, I'll be honest, it doesn't bother me because I'm not much of a movie guy. I'm not much of a person who watches a lot of shows and stuff. I didn't really use the screen as much. I was just using my phone because I did have my own movies and stuff that I like, or series that I like watching regularly.
Nice.
So that's why I just did on my flight. But for a lot of people, that's not the case. And they do rely on this entertainment to being up to par. So from what I have heard from other people, they said there wasn't much of an option, like you said yourself. And I think they could do updating with that to make themselves better.
What about the Wi-Fi? Because you use Wi-Fi, didn't you? What do you think of that?
I tried using the Wi-Fi, so obviously it took me a while to even get it set up. I did try and get the staff to help me out, and then they weren't really getting me an update on it. I did ask a few times what's happening with the Wi-Fi. I know it's not much of a big deal because we're in the air, so not many airlines do have Wi-Fi. But if it's a service you're going to provide, then you should do it properly.
Okay.
But yeah, I tried purchasing the Wi-Fi. It didn't really end up happening, and yeah, the Wi-Fi just it wasn't there really.
What about the whole Biman process, from the start to end? Because I think you mentioned there was cancellation, but then some of your family's experience and some didn't. Was that the case? Or?
Yeah, as for my experience, my flight was meant to be at 8 o'clock. It was quite a delay, and by the time we got into the plane, it was about 9:30, and by the time we got up in the air, it was 10 o'clock.
In the night, yeah.
Yeah, so if you bear in mind how early we got to the airport to prepare for, and hoping that we'd be flying off at 8 o'clock, it is quite a slight delay, and I've heard this happen consistently with other people as well. So nobody wants to go to an airplane like knowing that there will be a delay, because that really does ruin the experience a bit, because it's a direct flight for a reason. People want to go straight there, and they don't want to waste any time. Not everyone is fond of traveling, so they rather just get it over and done with, like myself.
Okay.
And to sit there for a while is just long.
Okay. You've obviously used a lot of different airlines, haven't you? Because you've been on different planes, etc. And then, obviously, every plane, everyone has different opinions of their experience. One time, like I've been on Emirates, for example, one occasion that was fantastic, another occasion I didn't like it. Do you think we as Bengalis are quick to judge Biman and be critical, because there are always negativity surrounding Biman, some which is justified, some which isn't? I mean, what's your opinion on all that?
Well, if you're going to pay the price that you're going to pay, which is £1,000 or however people get it for, then there is a standard that you need to live up to. If you've got other airlines which are doing it better than you at the same price, or a little bit cheaper, or a little bit more, however it is, and they've got better standard, then you should set the standard as well. You should be better, if not the same, as much as you can be.
Okay, and just finally, thanks, obviously amazing feedback. I'm sure anyone watching, will really appreciate, especially the Biman management. Just in your honest opinion, because you're young, British, Probashis as we, know it as, Bengalis living abroad. You're the upcoming generation. You're the generation that needs to be targeted by, the products and the services of Bangladesh. Would you honestly use Biman again in the future, or would you not? And if not, then why not?
Personally, from my experience, I would say no, because the delay, the space especially, it's a 10-hour flight, it's a long flight, and space is, I think, in my opinion, very essential. You don't want to be, eating next to someone and touching elbows and stuff, especially if it's a complete stranger, and that really did ruin it a lot for me. I don't think I would use it again, but in a case where if I was to go with someone elderly like my grandmother, or someone around that age, and they don't want like traveling too much, they don't like sitting in one place, getting off, and they want to go direct straight there, then it would be something that I would consider, just for her sake.
Okay, and what if Biman were to bring up different type of fleets, or change the structure within the inside, where you've got nice ample space and width and whatnot? Would you and there wasn't that much of a delay, and it was more consistent? How would you feel about that then? That change?
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing, because at the end of the day, it's our own country's national airline. We'd love to use airline made by our own people. If they did improve the space, a bit more better ambience in there, because it was quite dull as well, not to mention some nicer colours, and just make it more eye attractive as well on the inside, then definitely I would use them if they improved on the advice that I would mention now.
Awesome, this is fantastic feedback, and what I will say to the Biman management who will potentially look at this video, or anyone associated with Biman,
he's the voice of the future. He's the Bengali. He's the people that you are targeting. Listen to them. Pay respect to their, views itself. The elderly, their time has come. Their time is here, inshallah, but the time will go, right? So this is your future, and you have to make sure that they're satisfied, because ultimately, your success of your airlines in the future depends upon, Bengalis abroad, and Jonu is a perfect example of that. Thank you very much, Jonu, for your amazing feedback, and I hope this feedback has helped everyone else. And inshallah, I hope the leg space improves enough and the deco improves enough for you thingy. So thank you very much, Jonu. Next one. Will I use Biman Bangladesh Airlines again? And the answer is 100% definitely yes. Will I use Biman all the time? And the answer is no. It's just as simple as that. In terms of what I loved about Biman, I was positively shocked just by how much they've improved over the last 3 decades. They are in world-class service. The staff are incredible. The product as a whole is very, very strong, but they definitely have a lot of improvement needs. They're not perfect by any means, and the two things that lets them down, in my opinion, the first is the facilities within the plane itself. So i.e. the seats, which my mother and my nephew have already told you about, is uncomfortable. This leg space is very, very poor. If you're beyond 5'7", 5'8", it's extremely difficult to stretch your legs, and for a 10.5-hour long journey, that's incredibly difficult. It is tight. It's just not good enough. That's what lets it down the most. Even with the toilet, the toilet was incredibly clean when I came onto it. The staff did an incredible job of cleaning it as well. But ultimately, it is small as well. It's very packed. So personally, what lets it down is the airplane itself, which is a shame, because the word Biman, as you guys already know, stands for airplane, right? The name itself is supposed to be so strong and so strongly associated with the product, with the item, and the item lets it down. And the second thing, which I didn't particularly like, is the way the staff are so guarded. And the reason they're guarded, I guess, over the years, they've felt that they were not fully represented well by the Bangladesh community, especially within the social media. You go onto any Biman review websites or videos, YouTube videos, and all you hear is people moaning about how poor it is. And unfortunately, when I went on the plane itself, the vast majority of people, there was 271 people, passengers, of which I could think of no more than 10 people who are idiots, and everybody else was spectacular, incredible passengers, very polite, very respectable, following the instruction really, really well. But obviously 10 people makes a huge difference, right? And it's these 10 people who will then go online and complain as well, whereas the other 261 people will not say anything. So my humble request to everyone watching the videos who's used Biman, who's had a decent experience, not perfect but a very good experience, make sure you go and be vocal and remove this edginess that the staff feel. And I don't blame the staff, because they're incredibly nice. Everyone that I met was incredibly professional and incredibly nice people, but ultimately they are very, very guarded, and I think that's where they have a lot of lack of interaction. So for example, one of the staff ladies, one of the crew member, she went and cleaned the toilets about 6 times within the 10 hours I was there. And then at one point I stopped her just to thank her, and then she was all, when I stopped her, she was all, she was very, very, very strict in terms of how she stood there, and she was expecting me to complain, rather than saying something really positive, thinking I'm going to say something positive. She already had in her mind I was going to complain about something or be rude to her, which is quite shocking, and it left me quite quite disturbed, seeing her reaction. Then when I thanked her and I just said, listen, I've seen you come and go and clean the toilet on a regular basis, thank you, you and your staff are doing an amazing job. She just, her shoulders, everything, just fell down, and then she was so happy and she just felt so relieved. and she shouldn't be like that. She was an extremely amazing professional, like all the Biman staffs are. They're incredibly hardworking. They're very, 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 very well trained, incredibly well mannered, and very good. And they're walking up and down on a regular basis as well. So you always see them, and they are very attentive. But the reason they do not interact is they've got it inside their head that people do not like them, or people do not like Biman, which is rubbish, right? Biman is a fantastic, world-class service in my view, but it's let down by poor not branding, poor vision from the management, in the sense that although they've improved so much in terms of their branding, in terms of the services that they give, the facilities do not match it. The staff, unfortunately, as well as the passengers, because we are essentially customers, we are being let down by the planes themselves. The plane quality is just not good enough, at least the one that I went on as well. So please, my humble request to the Biman management, please invest in that. And please, when you look at videos like myself and all the other reviewers, whether they're Bengali or international, who give review on Biman, as well as all the feedback that you get from the customers, take notes, because we're not here to undermine you. We're not here to moan. There are some people who moan and there are some people who complain. That's their nature. But the vast majority of us are hardworking, genuinely good-hearted, customers, and we just want a good product. Ultimately, you've got a niche market now, especially with the Sylhet, international audience, international passengers coming to the Sylhet, right? Which is a huge chunk of your revenue. If you keep on giving the product that you're giving, there's going to come a time when a competitor airline is going to come, and you're going to be non-existent when it comes to Sylhet, especially, right? I can't speak for other regions. I can only speak as a Sylheti. I definitely want to use you again. I definitely liked you, and I definitely think, although you're not perfect, you are incredibly, incredibly good, and you're up there with some of the best airlines, some of the 5-star, 4-star airlines I've used. You're definitely up there. I can't see much difference between you and Qatar and Etihad and everyone else, other than the standard of of the plane itself. In terms of the passengers, I'd like to say to all my fellow passengers, please, 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 maintain a level of credibility and honor, and also, like I said, promote Biman in a good way. They do an incredible job, and if you've used other airlines, obviously use Biman. Give them a shot. Go and enjoy the cultural experience. It's incredible. The hospitality is fantastic. The cultural experience of a plane full of almost every Bengali is so heartwarming, and the conversations are incredibly entertaining. But obviously, if you use Biman, use other airlines as well. And the reason you should use other airline is because it's a fantastic privilege, to look back on your career and to say, what, or your lifetime, and to say, look, I've used so many different airlines. You can compare, you can do all that, but it's also very, very cool to tell your grandkids in the future, or your family members in the future, that you've used all these different airlines as well. So don't be shy from using other airlines. Don't be shy of giving positive, constructive feedback to the Biman Bangladesh Airlines. And for the Biman Bangladesh Airline and the management and everyone, continue doing the amazing job that you guys are doing. And God willing, inshallah, I pray that you go forward. And for the staff, honestly, we love you loads. Do not ever be disheartened by any stupid comment, because the vast majority of us do respect you. There are improvement needs that you guys have to make as well. Relay it back to your management. Create an atmosphere of positive interaction, both with the passengers as well as the people higher up within Biman itself. And inshallah, like I said, you'll go strength to strength. And thank you very much for everyone who's watched this video, because this is by far the longest video I've made so far. And I genuinely appreciate all you guys who've watched it from start to end, because it's been quite a journey, hasn't it? So many ups, so many downs. and everything else in between. But Jazakallah khair for everyone who's watched. Thank you very much for your support, and if I've said anything wrong, I apologize as always, and if I've brought you level of happiness and level of education, please pray that I continue to do that in the future as well. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Look after yourself and everyone else you love. Take care. Allah Hafiz.